to just dive into shit. All right, here we go.
You're
All
right.
right, go ahead, continue.
All right, so I know what you said that the we're going to talk about whether Joe Biden's a better candidate tonight, but last night we were talking about is Joe Biden in charge? Now,
Well,
I
hold on. Before you go, how it started was, is he a better candidate? That's what the video that I sent you was about,
yeah,
and
but
then it
that's
spiraled
not what our
into other stuff.
that's not what our debate was about because you were saying, "Oh, come on, dude, you know he's not in charge." I was like, "Yes, he like here's what it's reminiscent of. I remember back in the days of Ronald Reagan when Democrats were claiming that Reagan wasn't in charge because Reagan had Alzheimer's and that he wasn't there. He was in charge as much as any president who is in charge is in charge. If you remember back in when Barack Obama was president, in the early days of his administration, was he in charge? Because if he was, he didn't do any of the damn stuff that he said he was going to do, didn't get any of the damn stuff that he said he was going to get done in the first 2 years of his presidency. So was he really in charge? Or because none of our presidents are truly in charge by themselves. We all know that. This is the same thing when not just Ronald Reagan, but we also had Trump when Trump was slurring his words and making up words out of like kafafi and things and couldn't form a complete sentence, which is unusual for the man. But Democrats were sitting there going, Trump's not even in charge. We had this when George W. Bush was in office, where they say, Bush isn't even in charge. Cheney's running everything. It's all nonsense, and it's nothing but conjecture, and it's always coming from the side who doesn't believe, who doesn't want to give any credit to the person who's the president. And so, while I admit that sentence, which is
Oops.
unusual for a
Go
man,
ahead.
I'm hearing myself in the background. But anyway,
Yeah, I silenced
okay,
it.
oh, okay. So, you know, I freely admit that just like Reagan, just like Bush, just like Trump, Joe Biden has his days where I don't know if he knows where he's at. But I don't know if the men I just mentioned, if they didn't all have those same days themselves. They have they have their people around them that help them out to make the best of what they have. The thing is that we don't have any proof other than that we don't like somebody, so we're going to sit there and challenge whether they're truly in charge. What I find funny, and this didn't come from you, but from the MAGA people, is they'll claim, "Oh, Joe Biden's not even in charge," but they'll complain about everything under the sun, from the economy to unemployment to you know trans people taking over the world or whatever they have made up in their mind. And then when you ask them, well, if Joe Biden's not who's in charge, who's in charge? Half of them will say Trump. Trump's in charge. So shouldn't you be blaming Trump for all this stuff? See, they don't even think anything all the way through because they have no sense about them. They just want to believe what they want to believe, and they don't even challenge their own beliefs because that would mean growth on their part.
You
And
know
these
that
people, go ahead.
you know that I fully listen to both sides.
Yes, I do.
I've never heard anyone say currently that Trump is in charge.
I will show
So
you. I can send
so
you.
now
I wait.
you said the E word, evidence. So if
Yeah.
you're gonna come at me with where's the evidence of that?
I will show you YouTube after YouTube after YouTube of people going out and taking the mic out, asking these Trump supporters questions about who's in charge. They'll tell you. I swear to you, because you and I would sit there and go, "You're just an idiot. Seriously, how can you even? How can you have this thought in your head and not think it through and go, oh, there's something wrong with this process I'm going through because it just doesn't make any sense." I will show you interview after interview after interview of these people who will say Joe Biden isn't in charge, but they'll still say all the bad things going on, and so they'll say, "Well, who's in charge if not Joe Biden?" They will say, "I think Trump is still in charge," and
That's
then when
not
they say,
evidence.
no, it is evidence. It's evidence that there are people out there who believe that Trump is in charge. That's
Because
what I'm
the
saying.
average Joes out there who will have an opinion does not make it evidence. There's people who
No,
think Elvis is still alive.
wait, see, now you're confusing the discussion that I'm having with you. I didn't say that was evidence that Trump wasn't in charge or Joe
You
Biden's in charge.
Oh,
No,
dude,
no, wait, no,
rewind the
wait,
tape. We are 5
wait,
minutes in. We're 5 minutes into this. You just
sir.
said,
You're
I just said, this isn't evidence. And you said, yes, it
this is
is.
wait. I said this is evidence that because what I'm making the claim is that there are people who believe is in charge.
Yeah, that's not evidence. That's
It is
those
evidence when it
people's
comes out of
belief.
listen, when I say there are people out there who believe that Trump is in charge, and the interviewer is sitting there going, "Who do you think is in charge?" And they say, "I think Trump is in charge." How is that not evidence?
There's people who think the earth is flat.
Wait. You are no. How is that not evidence? I said there are people out there. There is a person who says, "I believe Trump is in charge." That's evidence. How is
Olivia,
that?
Olivia,
How?
if you believe that we're
Wait.
rich, does that make us rich?
No.
No,
Wait.
exactly.
That's
Just because
you're
people
conflating.
believe it, I'm not
Listen,
conflating anything. Hold on, wait,
you
hold
are
on,
you
hold on.
conflating argument because you're trying to say
How?
that that Trump is in charge. I'm not
No,
arguing
you
that.
said that. I didn't say that.
No, I didn't. I said there are. Listen to me carefully. This is how you're conflating it. You think that just because these people say that Trump is in charge doesn't mean he is. I agree with you. That's not the point I'm making. I'm saying there are people out there who believe that, and those people are interviewed. You said, "Well, send me evidence that shows there are people out there who believe that." I'm going to show you
Doesn't make
evidence.
it evidence. Show me a
It,
policy that Trump signed into
please,
office in these
please,
last 2.5 years. That would
no
be
one.
evidence.
Listen, no one is arguing that. You are conflating the argument. No one is. I'm not saying Trump is in charge. You're not saying it. I said there are people out there who are saying it. I'm just going to give you the evidence that there
That's
are people out there saying it. I agree with you. It doesn't make it so because it's not so.
to move the goalpost. You
It's not
just
moving.
moved the
You see,
goalpost.
it's not. You keep
Hold
you
on.
keep
Wait.
using that, and it's not.
Give me the floor. Give me the floor. Give me the floor. Right? I listen. You just said evidence that people believe. That's not
Yes.
what we said. You said you had evidence that Trump is in charge.
No, I did not. I did not say that. I said I have evidence of people who believe he's in charge. He's not
Okay.
in charge.
So what?
I don't. But all right. So here's the thing. So what I'm saying is, how can you sit there and say Joe Biden? These people are saying Joe Biden is not in charge. Trump is in charge, but the economy and everything's gone to shit. But it's not Trump's fault. It's still Joe Biden's fault. How does that make any sense in any rational world? How does that make sense? It doesn't. But that's the rationality these people have. That was my point. These are the people who are out there going, Joe Biden's not in charge. They have zero evidence that Joe Biden isn't in charge. They don't have any more evidence of Joe Biden not being in charge than the Democrats had when they said Bush wasn't in charge. They said Cheney's running everything. Everybody knows Cheney's running everything. It was nonsense then, and it's nonsense now. And look, is if someone else was in charge, don't you think if Obama was in charge, he'd start running everything that he wanted to get down everyone's throats and be able to do it in anonymity with under the name? No, he's not. He's not. No, he's not. He hasn't done anything because Joe Biden hasn't done anything. So even if you believe that Obama somehow is pulling the strings back there.
You just buried yourself, but go ahead.
I didn't bury myself. See, you keep saying stuff like that, but it's not because
You just said he hasn't done anything.
I said Joe Biden hasn't done anything. I said
exactly.
That's no shocker. Nobody who knows me, including you, knows that I do not support Joe Biden. I am not a Joe Biden fan. I would never put Joe Biden in. Joe Biden is a liar. He's corrupt. He's everything that Hillary Clinton is. He's everything that Trump is. He's everything that the Bushes are. He's no different than any of them. None.
But you said he's a better candidate than any of the Republicans.
Yes.
Why?
Why? Because
you just said he's corrupt, he's a liar, he's like the Bushes, he's like the Clintons. But what makes him better than the current Republican nominees?
because of social issues, even though I don't believe he does them because he truly believes in them. It doesn't matter why he
The
does them
social
because
issues that you just said he doesn't do anything for. Those
no,
are your
listen,
words.
look, as I will say, he has done like 2 or 3 things that I'm going, oh wow! I was really surprised he got those things done. For instance, he's forgiven the college debt. He's forgiven a certain amount of college debt that has helped, which will help the economy because now these people have money that they can spend and put back into the economy. I think that was the right thing
And
to
where does
do.
that money go?
Back into the economy.
To where?
What do you mean to where?
To where? Where are these people going to spend
Wherever
that
they
money?
wherever they spend it, whether it's in buying, putting that money down for a payment for a house or buying a new car or
And
whatever they
who does that benefit?
it benefits us as a whole society.
You dancing because you know damn
I'm
well
not
where I'm
dancing.
going with this.
No, I'm not dancing.
Every time the Democrats hand out money, it ends up going back to the people in power
Oh
through
hell no! Oh
taxes,
please,
through taxes.
are you kidding me?
It doesn't get taxed. It
Here
doesn't get taxed.
here's what
So
happened. Oh
during
yeah,
co- so
it
during
does get taxed. Wait,
hold on. During COVID,
uh,
how come all of the small businesses were shut down, but Walmart stayed open, Target stayed open, malls stayed
agree.
open, NFL ran, NBA ran. Oh, like I had to lose my friggin' back during COVID, but all of the billionaires' businesses stayed open. With
I
all those
agree with you.
PPP loans, with all those stimulus checks, that wasn't to help the small guy. That was to help the corporations. The
Do you know
ones,
why?
wait, let me finish. The ones that the Democrats say that the Republicans support.
That's right.
I told you, both sides play the same game.
Here's the
It looks different. Just the thing with the Democrats. See, the one thing I'll give the Republicans credit for is they tell you the demon that they are. They tell you what they're going to do. The Democrats mask it under social issues. We're going to help the little guy. Yeah, we're going to give the little guy all this money. So they go and they spend it with these big corporations, which gets taxed, and the profits go back to the big guys. They're not
okay.
helping the little guys.
Okay, so here, this is what you and other Republicans. And I know you
I'm
say,
not a
yeah, oh,
Republican,
oh,
and you know that.
okay. If you're not, then stop saying you're anti-democrat because
Oh,
if
I'm
you're
totally
anti-democrat,
anti-Democrat.
okay,
That
then
doesn't
you
make me a
should be
Republican.
so you should be anti-Republican too because here's where
I am.
you
I tell you I'm not for the far right.
that's not what you
I've
said last
told you
night.
that about
That's
the
not what you
far
said.
right, about the far
What,
current. We've been
I,
talking for 2 years now. I told you the far right is just as
I,
corrupt and
so
and
let me show
lunatics like the
you
far left.
let me show you where you apparently forgot or didn't know the, in your argument about why the stimuluses went out to help the people. Because here's the difference between Democrats and Republicans when handing out money to big corporations. The Democrats say, let's give it to the people, let the people spend that money, let it stimulate the economy. So here we go, people. You get some money, you go out and spend it and stimulate the economy. Here's what Republicans do when they want to give money to big corporations. Here you go, big corporations. Screw the little guy. He's not going to get anything. We'll just give it directly to you. We've seen this time and time and time and time again where Republicans just give money to and bail them out like they did during COVID. It was the Republicans who was going to withhold any people getting any money if they didn't give bigger stimuluses to the corporations. They were. Mitch McConnell was the head of that. That's why I told you he's a traitor. This is what Obama did back when he said the banks needed to be bailed out. The banks didn't need to be bailed out. The people needed to be bailed out. This scam that these people ran was against the people. If Obama had
Who's
taken
these people?
the people who bought into these homes with these mortgages that were just bum mortgages because they were being fed this line, do you think you're going to be? Hey, I know you don't have.
Didn't Biden just bail out banks while East Palestine was in crisis? and he didn't even show up to East Palestine. But when
Yeah, he
Silicon
did.
Valley fell, he acted in 48 hours.
All right, so here's the thing. You're looking, first off, he has shown up to crisis, and and if you want to play that,
How
because
long?
again, I'm not a Biden fan. I could agree with you on many things that you're saying, but don't pretend he's the only one who's done that. Don't pretend
And
that
that's
Trump
the
Trump
Democrat
took
playbook. That's the
okay, and it's the
Democrat. We're not talking
Republican
about Trump
playbook.
right now. We're
We are
talking
because
about
you're
Biden. We're talking
because
about
see,
Biden. You
no,
like this whole thing started because you said Biden is the best, is the better option than any
that's
of the Republican candidates. That's how this started. This isn't even about Trump. Whenever we criticize Biden, the Democrats automatically go to Trump. We're not
oh,
talking about
Republicans
Trump.
don't go
We're
to
not talking
Hillary
about Trump.
Clinton.
I'm talking about East
Please.
Palestine. East Palestine was in crisis, and Biden was nowhere to be found. Those banks in Silicon Valley failed, and they had funding in 48 hours. And that's my point. The same thing that you would criticize the far right for doing, the far left does. I told you, it's the same game.
Okay, but
There's
see,
no
you
difference
only
there.
call out one side. You keep
I just
saying
called
that.
out both
Okay,
just a
just
second
now, only
ago.
because I'm going to. If you don't, and you know that, but when you've been lately, when you've been discussing anything with me, you'll say, "Have you seen what the left done? Have you seen what the left done?" Yes,
Now, Kurt, I have
I
this shit on
freely,
video.
yeah,
I
and
have
I
this
do
stuff
too.
on video.
Okay, I freely call out the left. In fact,
And I
a few
give you
weeks.
credit for that.
Okay,
And you
but
know damn well I call out the right
here's what
all the
you don't.
time.
Here's what you don't do. I had came to you a few weeks ago and I said I want to talk about the corruption in the DNC. I came to you. I said
Yeah.
I want to talk about their corruption. You have yet to ever come to me and say, "Have you seen what the right did? Let's talk about this."
Ever?
Ever. You've never done that.
That's a
You will. All,
stretch.
no, it's not. I
That
promise you.
is a
You.
stretch. I've
I
sat
will.
here and told
Wait a
you
minute. Wait a minute.
when Roe versus Wade was overturned, I told you what they were doing was wrong. How those
Okay, that's
protests
not
were
the
wrong.
same thing.
I told you
That's
the
not the
people on
same
January
thing,
6th, the ones who were
Robert.
violent, right? Hold on, the ones who were violent, I told you they were wrong, right? I told you the extremists on the right are no different than the extremists on the left. I've said that
I've
on
told you that.
countless occasions.
You and I both agree. And I said there's a difference though. Yes, when the point's brought up, you will call them out, but you never have come to me and said, "Hey, did you see what the right did this week? Let's talk about that." You have never gone after
Never?
them the way you go after never. You have not
Remember
done
Dave
that.
Rubin? Remember Dave Rubin?
Yeah,
When
what
I
about
came
him?
to you and I said he's a gay conservative.
Yeah.
He's married. He and his husband got two surrogate wives, and they're having twins. And the
Yeah.
right completely shredded them online.
But we never had
And
a.
yes, we did, dude. It's
Wait,
on
no,
video.
listen,
We had a
we've
whole
we've had
conversation about
we had a
that.
conversation about it, but it wasn't the lead up. You didn't come to me and say, "Hey, let's talk about." You didn't say, "Hey, today let's talk about what the conservatives did to Dave Rubin, what the Republicans did to him, and how they acted." It just
I'm
happened.
sorry it doesn't fit in your bubble, but the
Wait, it's not
conversation
a bubble.
happened.
It's like listen. It's like I know those conversations happen again, and to your credit, you will call it out when it happens. But you have never led with, "Hey, let's talk about what the right has done," because as you said, you're anti-democrat. You're not anti-Republican, and
Why are
that's
you
why you never start.
anti-Republican?
I'm
Why are you
anti both of
anti-Republican?
them.
No, no,
I'm
no,
anti.
no, no. We're not
No, no,
talking
no.
about Democrats. Why are you anti-Republican?
Because they're corrupt. Mitch McConnell, Ted Cruz, Marco Rubio, the whole lot of them are corrupt bastards.
What's the main reason?
Mitch McConnell, because they're traitors to this country. They're traitors to this country because just like Trump, they give all the best benefits to the very filthy rich and screw us over. It's
That's
like
not
this.
your number one reason. What's your
It
number
is.
one reason?
It is my number
We've
one
had this
reason.
talk already. I know
My
what
number
I'm
one
fishing
reason
for.
is because here's what happened. We used to get a bone with a little meat on it. We used to get a bone with a little meat on it. Then both parties started giving us just the bone. Now the Republicans aren't even giving us the bone. They're just saying you get nothing. We don't give a damn about you. And they have said that, and they don't care about it. They don't care if you know, because somehow if you blow up trans people or gay people or whatever woke thing that they want to hitch their little wagon to, they know that these friggin' idiots out there who act like they're all religious and that they're all Christians, and God forbid if you read
now
a book
the truth
about
is coming out.
No, the truth is coming out because it is the truth. So here's the thing. So my point is this: is that they use these distractions like this wokeness that DeSantis has hitched his little red wagon to, and use that instead of talking about the real problems in this country, because he knows that he can fool these idiots who don't have a brain cell in their head and get them all scared that trans people are going to take over the world, instead of that, oh, Republicans are going to steal every fucking dime out of your wallet. That's what they're doing.
See, now pause there, because what you just said, we're in perfect alignment on why you can't stand the Republicans is why I can't stand the Democrats, right? Your biggest reason is because of how they treat or think about the LGBT community. And mine is how the Democrats use and abuse the Black community. That is why I let you talk, right? That is why I am anti-Democrat. That is why they have this whole group of people just thinking that they're less than, that they can never get ahead. They can't pull themselves up by their bootstraps, that they need the government, that Black women are incentivized to not have a man in the house and raise a kid with a man in the house. This is what the Democrats push on that community so that they can have votes. That is why I am anti-Democrat. That's the main reason. That doesn't make me pro-Republican. And I told you the things I like that the Republicans preach is about family. And I don't care if you're a traditional family or a gay family. I don't care. Family is the nucleus of any country. I don't care about them. I'm talking about me, right? This is what I think. And so, like, you can be friends with someone and not like everything about that person. It's possible. You can work for a boss that you despise, and I can vote for a political party that I don't 100% agree with. That is true. There's many things on the right that I disagree with. Like, I don't believe in radical anything at all on either side. So, like, the religious zealots, I think they go too far. The radical leftists, they go too far. But there's middle ground. And I find solace in that middle ground. Like I told you, the things on the right that I agree with. I think insurance shouldn't have the ability to deny coverage for something that someone needs. They shouldn't have that. People should be able to go to a hospital and get care when they need it. My feelings on abortion. Me personally, if I get a woman pregnant, I would want her to have the baby. But I don't think she should be forced to. So it's like I am not a Republican, because Republicans can't say that. I don't do group think. I told you, even because I have brown skin, I am not part of that community because I don't do group think. And
neither do I. And
yeah,
yet you claimed that last night. And I told you, you're talking out your ass because I don't group think. I'm not, when you said, oh, you want to go with everything the LGBTQ community says, and you know damn well I don't. I'm against a lot of what they said, and I've spoken about it on this show many times about what I'm not in line with. And I'm not all, and I agree with you, just how you feel about the Republican Party is how I feel about the Democratic Party, if not even worse, because I see the BS that they're pulling, both of them. The difference is that the Democrats are still giving us a little bit of the bone. The Republicans are giving us nothing. The Democrats are saying,
what bone?
At least, I just told you, he just forgave school debt, college debt for thousands of people that the Republicans would have never agreed to do because
I wouldn't either. It's like why do I have to pay for your debt?
Why do we have to pay out billions to bail out no, excuse me. I'll take that back. Why do we have to pay out trillions to bail out the banks? It's okay for social programs for the corporations, but God forbid we
Do you
had
know
a
why?
social program for us. Why?
Do you
Yes,
want do you want
please
the
tell
answer?
me.
Do you want
Yes.
the answer? And again, we've had this talk already because those banks fund the politicians.
Okay.
That's
So
why.
okay, you're absolutely right. And that shows the corruption and shows that it needs to
Yes,
stop.
I agree.
Instead of saying, oh, well, that's because that's the way it should be. No, it shouldn't. That money should have went to the people. You know what would happen had they not bailed out the banks and bailed out the people? What if we would have sent those trillions of dollars to all those people who had mortgages so they could pay off their homes? Guess what would happen? The banks still would have gotten their money and people would have been living in homes and the homes would have become and the prices of houses would become reasonable. But instead, because we had to bail out the banks, now not only did banks get their money, they also got the homes back. How is that fair in any world where anybody has a brain cell in their head? How do they think that was the logical decision? That was a scam that was run on the people. So you know what? If there's a little program here and there that helps the people out, why do we get all upset about it? And people go, "Well, I didn't get my college money. I didn't get my college debt paid off. So what? When I was a kid, my parents never bought me a car. I bought my own damn car. But by the time my sister got to the age of she could drive, my parents could afford it. I didn't go to my parents and go, where's my car? I didn't get a car. You didn't buy me one. I was happy that they were in a situation that they could buy my sister a car. I wasn't so self-centered that I only thought about myself. That's what's wrong with the people in this country is that they're so goddamn self-centered and so greedy. All they think about is themselves. They don't think about bettering everyone else because they're too busy trying to be better than everyone else. That's the
How do
problem.
you better someone else by handing them things?
You help people and you're not handing things because they're paying for these damn things. This is money that we pay out of our taxes that we decide where it goes instead of the damn politicians who have their pockets filled by big corporations. And so instead of saying, hey, we're going to bail out the corporations, they should be saying, hey, we're going to help bail out these people because they're in a mess and they got put in that mess because of the people who run those corporations and conned them into getting these mortgages.
You're a fitness professional, correct?
Yes, I am. You know that.
How many years?
Over 35 years.
35 years. How many people did you recommend liposuction to?
None.
None. Why?
Because I knew I could help them get there and make it permanent.
Is it?
But that's
Is it?
not
Is it? Wait.
again.
Is in
You're
your
trying to compare
no,
apples
no,
and
no,
oranges.
no. This is not. Is your way not harder?
It is harder.
It's harder.
But
Is your way long term going to cost more money? Long term,
maybe, yeah.
right? Is your way going to require more discipline?
Of course.
And that person is going to appreciate it more.
Of
Correct?
course they will.
Correct. Yeah. So when I go and I speak in schools, I speak at colleges, I don't talk about the easy way out. It's like, and I get what you're saying. So I'm not sitting here saying like what you're saying is wrong. I get what you're saying. But at the same token, people have appreciation for things that they work for, right? When you go to college, it's a whole process. It's like you don't trip and fall and end up in college. It's a process and it's a contract that you sign on to, right? It's a contract that I signed on to in 1992. And it took me until 2008 to pay off the loan, right? Was it easy? No. But I am glad that I took the shots to the chin, did what I had to do, and I paid that loan off. So why should someone who's 27, who signed that same contract, who entered into an agreement to better themselves and to take on the financial responsibility, why should that person now be void of that responsibility just because?
Because they were sold a false bill of goods. That's why. They were sold a false bill of goods. It's that simple.
Do you have
So
a
go
Venmo?
to college.
Do you have a Venmo account? Do you have a
Yeah,
Venmo account?
sure.
You do, right? So
Yeah.
if I was to somehow get your Venmo handle and make a charge on your account, do you know what the fine print says?
No.
No, you can't get a refund. I
Okay.
just sold you a false bill of goods and you have to suck it up. That's how life works.
Wow.
Life
Wow.
is
You
wait,
know
wait.
what? You're
Life
showing
is a
me the
listen,
compassion of a Republican. Seriously. You
dude.
want to sit
This
there?
has nothing to do with
It
politics.
does. No, it
Everything
has to
I
do with
just said, everything I just said has zero to do with politics. See, and that's the problem with
wrong.
people who are so into politics that not everything has to do with it. It's a life
No.
is about working hard. Don't you
Pull
have a
yourself.
child? Don't you have a
Here's what
child?
you are.
Hold on,
Here's
whoa,
what
whoa.
you.
Don't you have a
I
child?
yes I yes I have
Right?
two. And
Do you teach your children to take the easy way out? Because I had a
that's not the
talk.
easy way out.
I
You're
had a
asking people
talk
to pull
just
themselves up by
today.
their bootstraps.
I had a
You're
talk
asking,
just today
dude.
with my daughter about taking the hard road. Life is not easy. Life is hard. Life is hard. You have to wake up every day and make the choice to grind. Okay? It's very, very easy to take handouts. It's very easy to take the easy way out. But you have to wake up and grind. Like, and you know this. I'm sitting here in my mother's basement with my podcast studio. I had to make the decision. I could have taken the easy way out. I could have got on housing. I could have got on food stamps. I could have got on all of that government assistance. But I swallowed my pride and said, no, I got myself into this situation. I'm getting myself out of this situation. And I don't know if you notice, I got brown skin. And social media tells brown skinned people that you don't have options, you don't have opportunities, you can't pull yourself up by your bootstraps. And I'm sitting here proving that yes you can. And I landed myself in a gold mine after walking away from everything. And you're sitting here laughing because what I just said is a Democrat's kryptonite.
No,
Democrats,
I'm laughing because
Democrats
you're
don't
too busy,
want people pulling
Robert.
themselves up.
You know, seriously, and I'm going to tell you this: if for people who don't know and never seen us before, I love you dearly. I do. I love your drive. I love everything about you. But you are too busy patting yourself on your back and not giving enough credit to the fact the reason you're able to have that mentality, the reason you're able to do the things that you do, is because of the parents you have. Nobody, you can't say that everybody who's born black, white, or whatever, has the support system that you have, that you grew up with. There are
Spoken
people
like
out
a
there who don't.
true Democrat.
No, stop it, because that's rude. Because now you're saying that that everyone can pull themselves up by their bootstraps,
My
and
parents
everyone
grew up dirt poor.
and
Dirt
they
poor.
yes,
My
and they
mother grew
still,
up.
and I
My mother grew
guarantee
up in
you,
one of the
they
worst slums in Puerto Rico. One of the worst slums in Puerto Rico. Her mother shot herself in the head, and she came here at 17 years old. 17
yes,
years
okay,
old.
Robert,
Okay,
okay,
and
Robert,
she ended up
that's
meeting
some
my
of
dad's sister. She ended up meeting my dad. They were married 52 years, 7 kids, house in the suburbs, good school system, and they raised 7 kids.
right
Okay?
because back then you could.
They didn't have that opportunity. They didn't have that upbringing. But my dad said, "We are not doing this." So yes,
Okay,
every person can make it
no, every
happen.
person doesn't. You've got to stop
I
acting as
said
though
can.
everybody.
I said
No,
can. I said
every
every
person
person
can't.
can make it
No, they
happen.
can't.
Who
No, they
can?
can't.
Tell me who
There
can.
are people. There are
Tell me who
people out
can.
there. If you give me a chance, I'll be happy to.
Tell me who can.
I will. Just hush for 5 seconds for me. Not everyone is born like you and I. Not everyone is born with drive. Not everybody is born to want to be better. Some of them are just trying to get by. Some of them are just trying to live from day to day and don't even know that there's a possibility of getting better. Some of them don't have the support that you had or that I had. And trust me, my support wasn't that great, but it was enough to make me want to have better and make me pull myself up by my bootstraps. But I also had, throughout my life, I had people there who were support systems for me, whether they be a support system for 5 minutes or 5 years or whatever. There were people out there who helped me get to where I got. You had people out there. Your parents had people out there who helped them get there where they got. They didn't do it by themselves. No one ever does. But there are people out there who never get that support and never have it. They only hear what they're told, and they only see what they can see because they don't have anything else to compare it to. And so those people aren't able to do the things that you were able to do. So we can pat ourselves on the back all we want for what we accomplished. That doesn't mean everyone out there is capable of doing it. I wish they were, but there are people out there who are far more fragile than you, who can barely handle life, who can barely handle the things that come at them. And it's because no one's ever taught them better. They've never been supported to show them anything different than what they know. So to sit there and go, everybody can do this is bullshit. It's complete bullshit. I have seen people who can barely can keep themselves alive and not wanting to kill themselves because they're so overwhelmed with everything that's going on. They barely, and to dismiss those people as though they're just weak, that's a complete lack of compassion. And that's what I see on the right. And not that I see much of it on the left, trust me.
And you're going back to politics again.
No,
this has nothing to do with politics.
It has everything to do with politics, because when you have a complete party out of a two-party system who's trying to tell everybody, oh, these people are just lazy. They're just lazy. They're stupid. They don't want to work.
Where did the word lazy come out of my mouth?
Not you. I said the two-party system. You have one party over there who say that these people are lazy. Oh, look at them collecting welfare. Look at them collecting food stamps. Look at them doing this. But don't look at the corporations that we just gave trillions of dollars to and bailed out during COVID. Don't look at the trillions of dollars that we gave the banks to that we bailed out. No, that was because of the Republicans. The Republicans.
Oh, that was because of the Republicans.
It was. Okay. Go back. Okay. Yeah, go back and check because the Republicans.
All right. So hold on.
Don't interrupt me, because
before we go down that rabbit hole,
because you're cutting me off because I'm making a point. The $2,500.
You've been speaking dribble for the last 5 minutes.
The $2,500 that everybody got was only due because the Democrats had to fold and promise that they were going to give X amount of dollars to the corporation. If they had not done that, we wouldn't have got the $2,500. And here's the thing I'm going to tell you. All you people out there who sit there and go, I don't collect this, I don't collect that. How many of you turned down that $2,500? Did you? I guarantee you didn't. But you want to sit there and bitch about why should we give people $2,500? I actually know people, because as you probably know.
And she talking about you.
I don't give a hell. Why am I an ass? Tell me how I'm an ass. Don't
Kurt, hold on. All right, look.
Don't use childish tactics and do name calling like children do. Show me where I'm an ass. See, you can't, because you know I'm right.
You just said it a minute ago. You just said it a minute ago about things being handed out, about people not being able to pull themselves up. It's because of Democrats. If you want to make it political, it's because of Democrats telling people that they can't. Okay. When I speak in schools, because you keep saying the same bullshit. Now listen.
No, it's not bullshit, because I keep telling you. I agree with you. So for you to keep saying this bullshit, I said I agree with you. So why
you just went on for 5 minutes talking about how people can't pull themselves up, how people don't have the opportunities, how people don't. This is on tape.
I know what it is. And you're distorting what I said. I said,
oh my God! I just said for verbatim what you just said. Now,
no, you didn't.
I listened to you. It's my turn.
You didn't. Obviously, you didn't listen to me, because you're distorting what I said. You're distorting what I said,
dude. You just said there are people who don't have the opportunities that I had because of my upbringing.
That's not what I said.
Frank, you're still on. Did he not just say that?
I'll tell you exactly what I said.
That. right?
That's not what I said.
You said there are people who didn't have the upbringing that I had. I'll shorten it. I'll shorten it. That's what you said,
there's a difference between opportunity and upbringing and support.
Look, and here's Frank, someone who's listening. Yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
Yes,
Frank.
you did.
You know what? Again, just because you have someone who's as wrong as you doesn't go back and listen.
It's on video.
I know it is, and not
when
go
we're
back
done.
And listen.
I gotta write this down. It was at the 35 minute.
Go back and listen.
And I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna clip this and I'm gonna send it to you.
And I did not say opportunity. I said
yes, you did.
No, I didn't.
You said they didn't have the opportunities, the upbringing, or the resources.
I said they didn't have the support or the upbringing. That's what I said.
And I was nice enough, and I was nice enough to not interrupt, right? And I was gonna say, are there not chambers of commerce? Just a simple yes or no. Are there chambers of commerce?
Sure.
Yes, there are.
Are
there boys? Listen, are there boys and girls clubs?
Sure.
Are there libraries?
Sure.
Are there support groups?
For what?
For anything.
It
could be business.
Lots of support groups.
It could be mental health. So yes, there are support groups, right? So there are resources. There are resources for anyone.
No one's claiming that there aren't.
You did.
No, I didn't.
Oh my God!
You didn't listen to a word I said.
Oh my God!
You heard what you wanted
Kurt,
to hear.
I have an effing notebook. I wite down what you say.
I'm telling you, yeah, and you're taking what I said out of context, and you're trying to bastardize it into something that you
I might need
to
you
say.
to pour me a drink.
It's not what I said. I said there are people out there. It doesn't matter
what you said. It doesn't matter that I wrote down what you said.
No, that's not. See, again, you're twisting. I'm not even talking about that. And you want. This is a tactic that Republicans use when they
you can't defend that.
The point. I can defend it. Let me defend it. Let me stay quiet, and I'll defend it.
All right. Okay. Hold on.
Twisting my meaning.
Wait.
Quit twisting my words.
I'll let you defend it. But this is what you said, and then you can defend it. Okay? You said not everyone had the upbringing like you. Ooh. Frank wants to debate you. Frank,
dude. Jump on.
Frank, you want to come on now? If you want to come on now, I'll send you the link. Tell me yes or no.
Come on, Frank.
Because I'll send you the link right now.
Don't be scared like Robert was last night.
Oh, he said okay. All right, hold on. Let me send him the link. Good, because while you two are debating in the beginning, I need to go pee. All right, Frank, I put the link in the comments. See, so Frank is one of my longest tenured RBF peeps, my gym peeps. Yep, he said, let's do this. Alrighty, and Lorna, settle down. This is Lorna. She said she could rip you apart after what she's been through and other people been through. He's a nut.
Okay, here's the thing. Notice how they have to call you a name. They make all these wild claims. Oh, I could rip you apart. Get on here and rip me apart.
Notice how they're not coming after me.
Yeah, well, they're your friends apparently, and they apparently think the same way you do, which is why they're your friends. Doesn't make them right because they're not. Nothing I said.
That's where you go wrong. And that's where you go wrong because it's the whole collectivism thing, right? It's
your collectivism.
We're not just friends because we think alike. It's
really?
like Frank is a Republican here in Rhode Island.
There's a surprise.
He's run for office, and there are things that he puts out that I don't necessarily agree with. That doesn't make him not my friend.
That's because you don't agree with the Republican Party all the way. There are too many Republicans out there, as we talked about last night, such as the nominees for the Republican candidate, that they're willing to, that if Donald Trump is convicted, willing to support him regardless. Why would you be? Because you're about the party. You don't give a damn about the people. All you care about is your party. I don't have any time for those. Go back
to 2020. Who was the Democrat front runner?
You mean when it was
legit? Who was the front runner?
For the Democrats, it was Bernie Sanders.
It was Bernie Sanders. And then what happened? And then what happened?
The corrupt DNC went behind. Well, and I'm sure Obama had a lot to do with it because he even admitted to it. But they pulled Buttigieg and the rest of them who were ahead of Biden and got them to drop out.
Yep.
Yeah, got them
and why?
Yeah, because they're corrupt. Because they
exactly
because
same game.
Okay, I've admitted that. How many times? And not only have I admitted, I've called them out for it. It's not like you came to me and said, "Hey, what did the DNC do?" I came to you and told you what the DNC did, and I told you again. That's what they did. That's what they're doing to Marianne Williamson.
I told you. And I told you that I watched that whole DNC in 2020, and then I also texted you last week and said the Republican debates are this weekend. Are you watching? And what'd you say? No. You said no. You said no. I'll catch the highlights.
Wait a minute. They're
all liars.
They're all corrupt.
Biden. Here's Biden. I did not have any interactions with Hunter Biden's dealings.
Why are you bringing it up? I agree with you on that. Well, I agree with you on that. I don't think Biden should be in office. I don't like Biden. I don't think he should be in office.
Frank, what? Oh, hold on, Frank. Why are you commenting? I sent the link. Click the link and let's go. Trying to get Frankie up in here. Come on, Frank. Anyway, he just said Rhode Island voted for Bernie. Gina overruled the majority. Yeah, but she's still a Democrat anyway, so it is what it is. Yeah, Frank, if you scroll up in the comments, I put the link to come on the live stream.
Rhode Island did vote for Bernie. Bernie should have been the president, not Joe Biden.
See, and that goes back to how we started this over like who's in charge. And we've had this talk already. It's the ruling class. There is a ruling class that controls both parties.
But here's the thing, and as I spoke about earlier, he's in charge as much as any president is in charge. To say he's not in charge is just BS, and it's just people wanting.
The dude doesn't even know his name.
And it's neither did Trump.
Dude is, and again, you go back to Trump.
Because
the friggin' Democrat playbook.
You want to act. No, it's no different than when anybody said anything about Trump. The Trump supporters go and say Hillary this.
Nobody said shit about Trump just now.
What
I said
Biden. Is that what you're trying to do? Is act like this is a rare thing that Biden doesn't.
So that makes it better.
No,
that makes it better.
I'm saying I agree with you, but don't just tell half the story.
So now, granted, I'm single, but if I had someone and if I beat my wife, I would say, "Hey, listen, Joe beats his wife."
That
makes it better. Exactly. It's a stupid
for someone who's supposed to be able to debate. You compare apples to apples, oranges to oranges. You don't make some ridiculous.
I just did.
No, you
didn't. Just did, because whenever I say something about Biden, you default right to Trump.
And
that doesn't absolve
Trump. You go to Hillary Clinton. So
that doesn't absolve Biden from anything.
No,
we've been talking for 48 minutes. Did Hillary Clinton's name come out of my mouth?
No, because we're not talking about. Listen to me, because we're not talking about Trump. If we did, Hillary Clinton would have came out of your mouth.
No,
anyway,
I'm not talking about Trump. You keep bringing him up because that's the only defense you have against Biden.
No, it's not.
I don't. Trump.
Why do you think?
Name three good things about Biden.
Wait. Why do you think I'm trying to defend Biden? Why do you think I'm trying to defend Biden? I'm not. I agree with you.
Okay, name three good things about Biden without mentioning Trump. Name three.
No, don't change the subject until we get through with this.
Name three.
I said don't change the subject until we get through with this. No, I don't even know what your question was. I'm not going to change the subject until we finish this. I am not in disagreement with you about Biden, but don't act like he's the only president that happens to.
That doesn't absolve him.
It doesn't. I didn't.
And that goes back to me. If I smack my wife, if my neighbor smacks his wife, that doesn't absolve me from the crime.
Because what you do with you and your wife has nothing to do with this country. When you act like Joe Biden's
have nothing to do with Trump's actions.
what I'm saying is that we've had presidents who didn't know what the hell they were at or what they were saying or what they were doing, and
We're
Trump happened to be
talking
one. So
about
quit.
Biden.
All right, and so we're
Biden
talking
is
about
the
Biden, and I said
current president,
exactly, and I
right? He's
said
the
I agree
current
with you.
president who doesn't
What
know
part
where
of
he
you?
is.
What part of I agree with you do you not understand?
Okay, then why are you sidestepping my question?
Because
Name
you're trying to
three
act like
good things about Biden without mentioning Trump.
he made this.
Democrats can't do it.
I'm doing it right now. See, you know. Here's the thing: you ask a question, then because I started for a second to think of the words I want to use, that he gave us another stimulus check, and he
gave us another handout. He gave us another handout.
Yeah, no, he gave the people back their tax money instead of giving it to the corporation,
name a good
because that's what someone else would have done.
Him.
Let's not mention his name.
I said a good
that's what someone else would have done.
About him.
What?
I said name a good quality. Now what he did, now what he signed in.
Why would
name
I
name a good quality?
Why would I
Look,
name a good quality?
I can't stand Barack Obama. I can't stand that man.
Barack Obama either.
Right?
So
I can't stand him. But I voted for him. I voted for him in 2008 because he was a better representative for this country than John McCain.
Okay, so let me take your statement.
Let me fucking finish.
You did.
I sit here and listen to you talk. Give me my chance.
You've been talking over me for the last 30 minutes.
I'm strong like that. You know what I'm
saying? Yeah.
Right? But no, but just going back to my point, as much as I can't stand the Democrats, and you know I can't stand them, right? The double talk, the lies, the not being able to just stick to your guns. Like, whether you like him or not, we know what Ron DeSantis stands for. Whether you like him or not, we know what Vivek Ramaswamy stands for. You don't have to like them, but you know what they stand for. With the Democrats, I don't know what they stand for. But John McCain was so bad that I voted for Obama, because he at least gave the impression that he stood for something. It turned out to be bullshit, but he gave the impression that he stood for something.
So let me say this. I agree with you for most of the Democrats, but you can't say you don't know what the Democrats stand for when you have Democrats like Bernie Sanders and Marianne Williamson. They tell you exactly what they stand for. They are Democrats, and they don't pull any punches, and they answer every question. They don't skip around the question or try to avoid the question. They answer every question that's asked to them. But they're not going to be the candidates because the Democratic Party is corrupt. And they don't want Marianne Williamson to be president because she's too progressive for them, because that would take away their power. And they're not going to let that happen. The DNC is corrupt. And if you don't admit, again, that this two-party system is in its entirety corrupt and act like it only happens on one side because that's the only side you ever want to call out, unless I bring it up and then you'll agree with me, but you don't actively call it out.
I just totally called out John McCain, but okay.
Okay, what you call out? Call out Trump. Are you going to sit there and tell me that you support Trump? Seriously?
I'm going to tell you that I do not support Biden.
Okay, I don't either.
That's what I'm going to tell you.
I don't either, but I'm going to tell you.
You got a guy who went on the Breakfast Club. Wait.
You didn't let me finish.
There was a guy who went on the Breakfast Club and told Charlemagne the God, if you don't know if you're from me or Trump, you ain't black.
I got that.
That's the guy you voted for. If that's not the epitome of racism, I don't know what is. Telling someone because of the color of your skin, you're supposed to think and vote this way. And if you don't do that, then you ain't it. You support that, Kurt.
No, I don't support that. So quit. I don't support Biden. So quit trying to stuff your words in my mouth.
But you're going to vote for him in 2024 if he's the nominee.
Over Ron DeSantis?
You said it.
I will vote for Biden because, as you said, as though you can't stand Barack Obama, you still voted for him because you didn't think McCain was as good a candidate.
So you said Obama.
Wait a minute. As much as I cannot stand Joe Biden, I will vote for him over a Ron DeSantis, who's a fascist and has every intention of, as much as I can't stand Trump, there's a certain amount of me who respects him because he is what he is. Ron DeSantis is a slimy.
He's a politician.
Right, and he's as corrupt as he's more dangerous than Trump could ever be because he'll do everything behind your back and do it sneakily. He knows how to do it.
I want you to recall your words. Recall the words that you said about Biden earlier.
What?
Where you said he's done nothing, he's corrupt, he's a liar, but and now we just established he's a racist, and you'll vote for him.
The fact that you took you guys to the point to where Charlemagne had to say that to where it occurred to everybody he's a racist. He's been a racist his whole life. Okay,
we knew it. He's best friends with Senator Byrd, who was the grand wizard of the friggin' KKK.
Right, so then tell me this: why did the black community in South Carolina vote for him over the man who was in the civil rights march with Bernie Sanders?
Because how were the Republicans labeled?
And Biden got caught in a lie saying
how were the Republicans labeled? The Republicans are labeled as
what they are, racist.
All of them?
And again, no,
all of them. So
no.
All the Hispanics, all the Asians, all the black people.
Don't think just because you vote Republican. Wait, don't think because you're Hispanic or black.
Oh, here we go. Here we go. The black face for white supremacy. Now that Democrat talking point's coming out.
That's not what I'm saying. But there are Hispanic groups who are racist against all the other Hispanic groups. So don't act like blacks can't be racist.
That's in every group. That's in every group. The English hate the Irish. That's it. That's in every group.
That's exactly right. So let's not pretend that doesn't happen. So don't mention the token black person or Hispanic black person that the Republican Party has.
But you can't sit there and say that all Republicans are racist.
No, I didn't. I just said, you said all Republicans, and I said no, of course not.
See,
I don't believe all Republicans. In fact, I believe the overwhelming majority are good people. I believe that they want for the same thing that the overwhelming majority of Democrats want, and they want what's best for this country and for the people of this country.
See, so this man right here, Frank Ritchie, right? He's a Republican, right?
Yeah.
I am a brown-skinned man. In 2011, I was getting my feet wet with fitness. Mm-hmm. I didn't know what I was doing. I knew nothing about marketing. I knew nothing about branding. And this man took it upon himself to fund me.
Okay.
He had nothing to gain from it.
So
Nothing
Frank's
to gain outside of just training.
Okay, so Frank's a good person. What is your point?
He helped me get kicked. I'm dispelling the myth that all Republicans are evil. Right?
Why do you keep arguing the point that I'm not arguing with you? I said. Did you not just said
a majority of Republicans are racist? You just said it.
Not you.
Oh my God! Who is listening right now?
Stop it.
Lauren is here. Frank is here. Did he not just say the majority of Republicans are racist?
No,
tell me in the comments.
You don't
just said it.
Check. Wait a minute. Check the time, and I want you to go back. What I said was no. Of course not. I said I believe the overwhelming majority of Republicans are good people. That's what I said. See, you hear what you want to hear.
I said, what are the Republicans considered? And you said racist. That's because most are.
No, I said that's not. No, I did not. You said. You said. No, I didn't. You said all Republicans, and I said, of course not. That's what I said. I said I believe most Republicans are good people. See, you hear what you want to hear, and then you twist the words around, and that's like you're douchey from Fox News. That's not what was said. Go back at the time.
I told you, I don't watch the mainstream media.
Okay, well, you can go back and watch this again, and then you can apologize and see that you were wrong. Because that's
I will watch it. I will watch it, and if I misquoted you, I will absolutely admit I'm wrong. Because I can take the L. Time. That's bullshit.
You have taken my words out of context, and you have misrepresented what I said. When I said that there are people out there.
I literally told you word for word what you said.
No, you didn't. See, that's just it. You think you literally said it, but what you literally told me was literally what you heard in your head. It's not what I said. Like, I didn't say people didn't have the opportunity. I said they didn't have the upbringing or the support system, which is completely different from opportunity. Completely different. I
So
believe that
if
in
they
this, that's
didn't
one of
have
the
the
things.
upbringing and didn't have the support system, means they didn't have the opportunity.
No, it doesn't. The
Oh my God.
opportunities, listen to me. Here, you and I both know this because you're, again, listen for one
I don't
second.
drink
And
whiskey, but I might need whiskey after this.
I don't understand. Like, if you would just stop for a second, pull back, pull yourself out for a second, and listen to what I'm saying. Opportunity is always there for people, always. Everybody. That's one of the things that makes this country so great. Not everybody sees the opportunity because they don't have the ability to see it.
You
Okay?
just moved the
So
fucking
that
goalpost again.
I did not move it. I am telling you that
I
when
said
you go,
earlier,
you're going to interrupt me again. See,
everybody.
you're too busy arguing. You're not
I
hearing.
totally interrupted you on this one. Yes, because you
Yeah,
totally. I said earlier, everyone can make it happen, and you came
you're
back
not
and said,
listening.
no, they can't.
You're not listening to what I'm saying. This is why you're still arguing because you're too busy trying to be right instead of actually
I'm
listening to what
telling
I'm
you what
saying.
you said.
I'm telling
I
you
said
what,
anyone can make it happen, and you
again,
said no, they can't.
you're only hearing what you want to hear. If you
You
would
didn't
take
say
this,
that. You're telling me you didn't say that.
I did say that. Now let me put it in
Oh my
context for you so that it makes sense instead of trying to win an argument. That's all you're doing, Robert.
God.
Yeah, see? Yes, there's opportunity there for everyone. As I said, not everyone not everyone is capable of seeing that opportunity because they didn't have the upbringing, they didn't have the support system, they didn't have people there helping them out to learn that there's opportunity everywhere. They don't see it because it was never shown to. It was never given. They were never given the ability to see how you can find opportunity everywhere. So therefore, they don't. These people can't see what they can't see. Does that make sense to you? Like, you and I can see it because somewhere along the line, someone helped us to see, look, there's plenty of opportunity out there if you open your eyes to it. But there are a lot of people out there who don't know that. They don't know that. And to lack compassion and to think that, oh, well, they're just stupid or they're just, then they deserve what they get. It's just, it's inhumane to think to put people in a box like that and think that somehow then they deserve what they get.
I can talk now.
Yeah, but I doubt you listened to anything I said. Seriously, because you just want to talk and you're not listening to what I'm truly saying. Is that
I think this goes both ways.
It's not
This goes
because
both ways because I'm
this entire
responding.
conversation I've had to defend what I said because you're not hearing
I'm
what I truly am saying.
responding to what you say.
No, you're responding to what you hear. It's not to what I said. If you go back and watch this, you'll see exactly what I said, and it's not what you heard.
Or maybe what you're saying isn't what you think it is you're saying.
I know exactly what I'm saying. I'm saying, look,
because you've moved the goalpost a couple times.
I have not
and
moved the
and people
goalpost
in
at
the
all.
comments have
not,
agreed. People in the
because they're
comments
not.
have agreed.
Look, here's
And
what
you're
I'm
gonna
tell
say
you.
it's them, it's not you. Yeah, like you're not gonna look inward at all and
I
say
am looking. Listen,
well,
I've had
maybe
this
I said that
discussion.
wrong.
I've had this discussion with people so many times, and I've had people who've done what you've done, only for years later to come back and go, "I get what you meant then," because they didn't get what I meant because their eyes weren't open. And right now, and I don't mean this as any form of disrespect, but your eyes are not open to what I'm saying because you don't want them to be. I promise you, when you sit back and you truly think about the words I said, you open your eyes to it, you'll understand and you go, I get what you were saying then. You may still not agree with me, and that's fine. But at least you'll understand where I was coming from and that I did not say the things you think I said today.
See, and the things that you said that actually proved my point. Right?
I didn't
And
prove anything
right, you
unless I
totally
agree with
proved
you.
my point when I was saying that people can accomplish anything. It doesn't matter what your starting point is. It starts inside. You have to
See, this tells
decide.
me.
Like I interviewed Michelle Cunningham. You
Yeah, I
interviewed
did too.
you
Yeah,
interviewed Michelle Cunningham. She grew up dirt poor. She
that
was
doesn't.
and let me finish. She said she grew up dirt poor in a
Yeah,
white neighborhood, right? She
yeah.
had to watch the other kids have things that their family couldn't have. She had a mother telling her the only way that she could succeed. And she took it upon herself to say, I don't want that for my future. She did that. The government didn't do it. Society didn't do it. She did that. And see, and you're shaking your head because, like,
Because you're repeating yourself.
because you,
I
would let me
because
finish
you're.
the sentence, because you contradicted yourself. Because
I did not.
when I
Did
first
not.
said that, you pushed back. See how you're telling me how I'm not listening to you? You're not listening to
Because you're
me.
not. Because you're distorting my words again. I know
I'm
what I said,
repeating
and that is
myself.
no.
I'm repeating
You're repeating
myself
yourself because
because,
you're
and
repeating
now
what
you're
you
telling
heard.
me why I'm repeating myself,
I know
right?
why. Because
Right?
you
I'm
want to. You
repeating
want to.
myself because you keep moving the goalposts.
No,
I'm
I didn't
repeating
move the.
myself
Stop saying that.
to
Stop,
keep you
Robert.
on
Stop.
topic.
Because you're being
Okay?
disingenuous.
I sat here and listened to you. Did
You
I
did
not?
not.
I
No,
just
you didn't.
the last 5 minutes, I sat here quiet while you
Yeah,
spoke.
and you still didn't hear what I said.
The last
You
five
heard
minutes,
what
I
you
sat
you heard what you
quiet.
wanted to hear because
Okay?
if
You
listen
said,
to me, if you
you
heard what I
said,
said, if you heard what I said, you wouldn't be saying these things right now.
yeah.
That's how I know you didn't
And
hear.
again, and that's why people are agreeing with me.
Yeah, well, again,
That's why
they're
people are agreeing
disclosing.
with me. So
They're
I'm wrong.
because again,
Frank's wrong. Lorna's wrong. Everybody else is wrong, but you're right.
look, if you want to believe, you guys can believe the way you want to believe. I know what I said, and I know
And
Frank
we
is no more
heard what
open-minded
you
than you.
said.
No, you didn't. You
We
heard what you
did.
wanted to hear.
Just because we
Frank heard what he
disagree
wanted to
doesn't mean we
hear.
didn't hear. Just because we disagree doesn't mean we didn't hear.
If you'll give me just 5 minutes, I can break this down, and you can agree or disagree at the point where I break it down. Okay.
Okay, go ahead.
So, all right. So, would you agree that there's opportunity everywhere?
Yes.
Okay, I agree with that as well.
Yep.
Would you agree that you and I and Michelle Cunningham and people like us, we see that opportunity?
Yep.
Okay. Can you agree that not everyone is like you and me and Michelle Cunningham? Can you agree that there are people out there who don't see that opportunity, they were never taught how to see opportunity?
See, now
Can you
I'm writing down
wait?
what you're
At,
saying, but yes.
okay, okay. So, what do you think happens to those people who were never taught to see opportunity, who were never given the support or the upbringing that it was needed that for people like you and I, for us to see that opportunity? Are you going to say that just because there's opportunity there, but they can't see it, that it's still there? It's like that whole thing about if the tree falls in the woods and nobody's there to hear it, doesn't make a sound. If they can't see it, it doesn't matter how much opportunity is there. They're never going to see it, and in their mind, it's not there unless they get the support. Unless somebody helps change their way of thinking, they're never going to see it. Unfortunately, these are the same people who fall through the cracks. These are the people who don't get the support that they need because people don't want to give them the support because they're too busy giving it to people who see things their way. So there are people out there that don't have bootstraps to pull themselves up by because mentally they're not able to see the things that we see. They're not able to think the way we think. So that opportunity isn't there for them any more than it's there for you know how many times millionaires and billionaires say money is everywhere. You can have it if you want it. All you have to do is take it. Are you a millionaire? No. Am I a millionaire? No. But millionaires will tell you it's because you don't see it. And and to their point, they're probably right because we haven't opened our eyes up to see what they see. Okay? But when we do, then we can sit there and go, it's this easy. You just need to open your eyes up to those opportunities. But to the people who aren't capable or aren't able to see that yet, they don't believe it. And you're never going to get people to believe things that they can't see. That's the difference. So while there's opportunity there, not everybody's able to take advantage of it because they don't have the necessary tools to see that opportunity. Is there anything I said there that you would disagree with?
Everything that you just said, I'm about to pounce on.
No, please
because
do.
Because again, now I sat here and I shut up.
I'm going
right? I sat here and I shut up. So allow me to refute.
Okay.
So again, I'm going back to the fitness analogy, and you can sit here and tell me it's apples.
Wait.
Oh, here we go.
Please don't. You want to talk about moving the goalposts? Don't. I just asked you on each point. Is there anything you disagree with?
And you're not letting me answer.
Wait a minute. I asked you point to point to point. Do you agree with me? You said yes. But then, as soon as I get done, you said, now I'm going to refute. How can you refute something you just said you agreed with every point on?
Are you going to let me talk?
I want you to answer that question. Don't bring up some stupid analogy that has nothing to do with this.
I sat here and listened to your breakdown.
Wait.
Listen to my breakdown. Listen to my answer. You asked the question. Let me answer it.
The question is, how do you refute?
I'm aware of the question.
Okay.
Let me answer it. You don't get to decide how I answer the question.
You've got to answer the question. I do get to decide which question you're answering. I didn't ask a question about physical fitness.
The way I will answer it. Okay? I sat here and listened to you.
Okay.
All right. So now, you started this with people don't always see the opportunity, right? People don't see that. In the fitness world, people will come into the gym, right? And you're already closed-minded. I sat here and listened to what you said. You rolled your eyes, you looked down.
Because you're going to make an argument that I already talked about.
And
you're going to talk about.
How do you know? I didn't even finish the sentence.
Because I know where you're going with this. I know
back to you not listening. You accuse me of not listening, and you're doing exactly what you accuse me of.
Because I know what you're saying. Go ahead. I'm going to listen to everything you say, and then I'll go.
If you want to refute afterwards, go ahead. Just let me make my damn point.
This just seems so long and drawn out, and it doesn't need to be. Go ahead.
Are you good?
Go.
Can I go?
I said go. That means go.
No, once again, you said people don't see the opportunity. And people who may have been overweight their entire lives may not think that they can become fit. And then they seek out guidance. That's me. That's you. That's other fitness professionals. And we help them paint a picture of something that can be attainable for them. We give them a blueprint, something that they can work towards, daily goals, daily things that they can do to develop habits. And then those habits turn into values. And then those values turn into results. And then 12 months down the line, they have fitness results. So what you're talking about in everyday life, that's all these people need. You get that person who maybe grew up in a single family home, or maybe they were orphaned, or maybe they had two parents that didn't have that upbringing, and they're only raising their kids the way they know how to raise them, because that's all that they know. And you said it yourself. They have to change their way of thinking. Those are your words. I wrote it down. You said they have to change their way of thinking. Just like we have to take that person who's been sedentary their entire lives, and we have to change their way of thinking. We have to take this single mom who's been struggling, and she's on food stamps. She has no dad in her life, and she's been struggling her entire life. And we have to let her know, you have options. There are things that you can do. You can get yourself out of this. And we have to point him or her to where the resources are. There are things that you can do. There are ways for you to get educated that won't cost money. There are skills that you can learn. There's way for you to get childcare. There's ways for you to get help. There's resources everywhere. Just like in the fitness world, there's resources everywhere. If you need flexibility, there's yoga. If you need strength, you got strength training classes, you got kettlebells. If people who like CrossFit, there's CrossFit. People that like my style or your style, you have options. There's no one way that works for everyone. So this single mom, maybe she has 2 or 3 kids. Maybe she's got to work full time. Maybe she's got to work 2 jobs. She's got options. That woman has skills locked somewhere in her subconscious mind that a mentor can help her extract and turn it into something amazing, like Michelle Cunningham did. She knew she wanted better. She knew she was good at networking and getting people to believe, and she turned it into a 7-figure business. She went from humble beginnings to living the life of her dreams. And why? Because it started with her. It started with her. Like you said, her eyes were open to see what they see. All it takes is people like you and I who have a vision to take these people who may not have that vision and help them see it, to help them find their power and help them see that there are things out there that they can accomplish. Like I said, my daughter, she's 21 years old. Before she went off to college, I told her, I said, you are a mixed race female. You're a mixed race female, and society is going to tell you that you're going to suffer because of it. You're going to struggle because of it. You're going to have less options because of it. And I looked her dead in her eyes and said, that's total bullshit. I said, you're going to get out of this life what you work for, what you grind for, what you want. I said, you got to find what you're passionate about, and then you got to turn that passion into the thing that you want. Okay, when I left everything, and I left everything, people close to me, I left my house, I left my business, I left people close to me. I hit rock fucking bottom, and I didn't let that break me. I didn't go to the government. I didn't look for handouts. I didn't sit here and come on social media and play the why is me card, Kurt. I pulled myself up. And other people can do that. I'm not going to sit here and tell them life knocked me down. Not going to tell them that my business partner played me and took me for everything that I had. That's a harsh reality. It happened, but it didn't break me. It did not break me. And I am right now sitting on a freaking gold mine. I landed myself in a much better situation than what I was in. And we can tell these people who are living in poverty right now, we can tell them you have options. We don't have to tell them that they have to stay in poverty. We don't have to tell them that they're going to struggle because they're gay or because they're black or because they're trans. Look at Dylan Mulvaney going what he's going through. He, she, whatever. That person is a multi-millionaire right now. And that person, whether I agree with it or not, that person is living the life of their dreams, dealing with the backlash that they're dealing with. So that's my pushback to you. Yes, people struggle. Yes, not everybody is at the same starting line. But if anyone wants to accomplish anything, they can do it. Okay, I was born in the ghetto in New York City. Guess how many memories I have of that ghetto? Minimal, because my parents got us out of there. They moved us to a rural community with a great school in a predominant white area. And guess how much I suffered living in this white area, being a brown-skinned person? Zero. So we got to stop perpetuating the lie that everybody struggles the same, because it's not true. Not everybody struggles. Yes, there are people that can't get out of their own way. But at some point, there needs to be self-accountability. Why can't they get out of their own way? Why?
Because, as I told you before, they don't have the tools. And while everything you said is motivational and people should learn and can learn from you, you're too busy patting yourself on the back because of what you did, and you think everyone is you.
Where did I pat myself on the back?
Wait.
Where did I pat myself on the back? Because that's the third time you said that. And I let it go the first two.
Okay,
where did I pat myself on the back?
Story about how you rose up and how you continue to rise up, and we know that story. We know
what to show people that it can be done. Where did I say I am this great person because I did it? No, like I said, that's the third time you said that.
Okay,
and again, this goes back to the Democrat playbook.
It's not. Stop saying that, because first off,
because that's what it is. That. Any black person that thinks for themselves gets vilified by the Democrats.
Are you kidding me? Are you trying to say that's
vilified.
What I'm doing to you?
I'm not saying that's what you're doing, but you're definitely minimizing. You're definitely everything I just said. You just minimized it.
No, I didn't.
By saying, "Oh, well, you're patting yourself on the back." Like, "Oh, good for you, black person. You made it."
No, I prefaced it with everyone could learn from you. The thing is that what you keep missing, and you said this yourself, these people need mentors. These people need to be shown the light. They need to be shown the way. The problem, Robert, is there's nobody to show them. Sure, you and I show people who come. Nobody. Because
I just told you, Boys and Girls Club, libraries, chambers of commerce. There's mentors everywhere.
How many of these kids you know that have been into a library ever, and or who bring their school books home because they get beat up by punks on the streets who don't want them to do any better?
Okay, that doesn't mean it's not there. That doesn't mean the opportunity isn't there.
That I didn't say that. In fact, I said there's opportunity everywhere. What I'm saying to you is that not everybody has a mentor. Not every overweight person is not going to have the money to pay people like you and I to understand you don't have to be this way. And there's a whole section of society out there, which you would call the Democrats, that say it's okay to be fat and it's not okay to be fat. I agree with you on that. That is
the Democrats, but okay.
Yeah, I see, and I knew that, and that's what you think. And to a great degree, I agree with you. However, those people don't get mentors to come in. And how many fat people have you ever seen? Overweight people have you seen in public where you went up to them and said, "Let me help you. This doesn't have to be a way for you. I can help you get in shape." I would say none, because I have never approached someone like that. And unless I get paid, I'm not taking my time, because I have people I have to take care of who pay me to do that. These people don't have the money to get paid. So how many mentors do you think are out there searching
How do you know?
for these people? How many people do you think are out there searching for these people who
How do you know they don't have the money?
Because they don't. Because they're living when they live in the projects, when they don't have a car, when they don't have
my ex-wife
decent clothes on their back.
My ex-girlfriend is married to a dude who's the vice president of Fidelity, who has lots of money, who probably weighs about 270. All right, it's about choices. People have choices, but then you have the Democrats. Then you have the Democrats telling people that they don't have choices, and that you should just embrace being overweight, embrace being obese.
And I agree with you. They do that. They do play that. And I agree with you every time you say that. What I'm saying is that people who are poor, people who are in the ghettos, people who are in the projects, they don't have mentors coming out to the projects. So, hey, can I help you better your life? Let me show you what you're not seeing.
See, and Lorna can tell you, I've said to many people where their shortcomings are. Many. I have no problem doing that.
And how does that work, Robert? How does that work? You know that when you give unsolicited advice, people are just going to turn away from you because all you're going to do is piss them off. That's the thing. It's like you have, if you want to create an environment for these people, to get them to think differently, to open their minds, to open their eyes, you're not just going to, you and I can't just go in there and go, "Hey, see what we did? Come follow us. We'll show you how it's done."
Why can't we?
because again, they're going to be suspect of us. They're going to go, "What the hell do you want?" Because
Okay,
nobody
then
gives
then
anything
those
for
are the
free.
ones that aren't ready to change. It
That's
does
right.
it
That's
it
my
doesn't
point.
it doesn't
Is
it
that
doesn't matter. If 5 people say no, but 5 people say yes, then that's a score. It's up to
Robert?
us.
That
It's up to
it,
us. Wait, hold on. It's up to us to let them know the opportunity is there. If they reject the opportunity, that's on them.
okay, I agree. But a lot of people are going to be reject the opportunity because they always know every time they gave anyone a chance, they got screwed. And they're like, "No, you're not screwing me too." And so they shut down. Anytime anything is suspect, they're not going to give you the time of day because they know you're looking to screw them one way or the other. That's life that's been delved out to them, and that's how they see life. And you're not going to get those people to see it unless there's somebody you can trust.
Unless there's somebody you can trust. We constantly inspire total strangers every day,
We
every
do.
single day.
Absolutely, but on what level? Like we can, like, look, there are people out there who admire celebrities and stars and stuff, and go, they help them in some way, but not enough to where they believe that can happen to them. If you would, there's a book called "What Makes the Great Great" by Dr. Dennis Kimbro, and he talks about this whole mentality, how we can see the potential in everybody else, but we don't see it in ourselves. We have more self doubt than we doubt anybody else beyond ourselves. We doubt ourselves more than anyone. We can look at you and go, "Yeah, I can see how Robert made it. Robert's got all this energy, he's got all this drive, he's got this determination, but I can't do that." And that's what they believe because that's what they've seen. Those are the experiences that they've had. And so when you say these people can pull themselves up by their bootstraps, yes, if you give them the bootstraps to pull themselves up by, but until they see the opportunity the way you see it, it's not going to happen. And we can't just leave those people behind and say they deserve nothing because they're not smart enough to get out of their own way. And that's my
Oh,
only point.
you just said a whole lot there. You just said a whole lot there.
But
So
I've been
so
saying that
so
this whole
first thing,
time.
first thing is going back to you saying that I keep patting myself on the back, right? People not being able to see it, that's why you tell your story. You've been on my show, my other show. You know, I talk about the power of telling your story. It's not about propping me up, it's about showing other people what's possible. It's about what's possible. Like I was talking with someone at the gym the other day. He's got a bum shoulder. He's had a bum shoulder for however long. And I told him the story of my knee and being told I would never be able to run or jump again. That's not about patting myself on the back. That's about letting him know somebody else tried to clip my wings and tried to tell me what I'm capable of. And I took it upon myself to push myself to defy those odds. And in telling him that story, he is more determined now to get the full range of motion back in his shoulder. Like telling that story has nothing to do with propping me up. And telling the stories I've shared here earlier today has nothing to do with propping me up. Like that's how you get people. What did you say? Again, these are your words. Open their eyes to see what you see. And that's how you get them to do that, by telling your stories. Like, this is
That's
where I was, this is what I went through, and this is what I was able to accomplish. That's how you do that, through the power of storytelling. It has nothing
that's
to
not
do with propping
always
myself up.
that's not always effective. Like you said, there are going to be people that go, "Oh, good for you, good for you." That's not me. That's not my situation. And you
Then
don't
those
wait,
people
wait,
can't be
and
helped.
you don't understand. That's right, Robert. Thank you. They can't be helped because they're not in an environment to be able to be open to help. And those are the people that everybody wants to shit on and say, "Screw them, then leave them behind." And I'm saying, they didn't get the help that we got. Every one of us who've had any success in life has had help from others. We didn't get there by ourselves. No matter how much we'd like to believe we didn't. We've always had help from some person or group or something or somebody's done something to help us along the way to get to where we're at.
But
These
if they
people
reject it,
have no, yes, I know, because
right?
they
If they
don't know.
reject it, then that's on
Right.
them. It's like
But see, you keep saying it's on them, but it's,
they don't have it. We can't say that they don't have it, right?
we
We can't
can
say
say
that
that because we can
if
see
wait,
by
hold on,
their
hold on.
actions.
If we're going out and we're trying to educate and then people don't get it, it's like my nephew, he's 26 years old. This kid's been in and out of jail, messing with drugs, right? He had the exact same upbringing as his sister, who got straight A's in school, finished in the top 5 in her class, went to a really great college, got a master's degree. She just moved to Texas to work in education. Same exact upbringing. At some point, people become the sum of their decisions. Okay, so
Right.
it's not always about the upbringing and what the government can do. People make decisions. People decide to kill people. People decide to rape people. People decide to assault people. It's like people make decisions, and your life becomes the sum of your decisions. That is unfortunately a harsh reality. So now I know you don't believe in the Bible. You don't believe in creation. That means you believe in evolution. That means you think we came from animals. Look what happens in the animal kingdom. What happens to the weak? What happens to the weak in the animal kingdom? So if you think we came from animals, the weakest of our society are going to end up succumbing to their actions. As awful
Oh
as it
God.
sounds, but you can't claim to think we came from animals, and then you want to claim some type of morality, even though you hate morality, about animalistic consequences.
Listen, first
Go
off,
ahead,
you've
talk your way out of this
again,
one.
you've distorted everything. You don't know what what are my stances on evolution or the Bible.
We spoke
I don't
about it.
believe.
We had a whole podcast about evolution.
We did, and again, apparently you didn't hear me. I said I
It's
don't believe
always
in,
me not hearing you.
because I didn't say. I said I don't believe in religion. It's not that I don't believe in a higher power. I would like to think that there is, and I tend to believe that there is a higher power. I just don't believe it in the way that Christianity puts it out there. And that is what I've said. As far as evolution, I don't even, I believe what they can prove. I don't even know how far they can prove. It seems kind of hard for me to think that we started as tadpoles or something in the water and became
I
what we
think
are
it was
today.
episode 2 that
Okay, and
we
go
spoke
back
about
and go
religion, and you
right.
didn't say any of that. Any of
I
it.
did.
Now
I have said that. That
I'm
has
a
always
bit
been.
younger than you, so maybe my mind's a little sharper. It's like
Yeah, maybe
I remember the bullshit that comes out of your mouth.
the bullshit.
And I remember what I'm not saying everything is bullshit,
Okay,
but when you spout bullshit, I remember it.
I don't spout
And
bullshit. I
we
spout
had
what I spout what I spout the truth, or I spout what I believe is to be true. And when I say something that I believe, I will preface it with I believe this. Not that this is the truth; it's what I believe. And as I said, I've always believed that, or I want to believe that there's a higher power. I don't believe in the God that Christianity created. I don't believe there's some old white guy sitting up there on a stool or something, waiting to pass down judgment for everybody who does anything wrong. And yet he's an all-loving God. He's that he has unconditional love for us. But if you do one thing that he doesn't like, you're dead. Screw that. None of that even makes any sense. That's what I said. I
That's
don't
not
believe
even
in
how it
religion.
works, but okay.
No, it is. It is
Yeah, go
basically
ahead.
how it
I'm
works.
listening.
That God's told people to, we can go back to the Israelites and the Canaanites and how He told them to kill everyone, every child, woman, man, and for what they didn't even do anything wrong, but because they were on the land that someone else had put them on, they're supposed to be killed. Does that if you really want to get into how would I be as a father if I told my son, hey son, I know you had a kid, but I want you to prove to me that you love me more than anybody else. And so I want you to take your son up on the mountain there and kill your kid. Okay? Just to prove to me you love me. What kind of dad do you think I would be? What would the world think of me if I were to tell my son that? But because it's God, it's okay. There's no such fucking God. If he is, I don't want to know him. He can kiss my ass. That's
See
what I could say. And I will say to I will say to you know what, and I know there'll be a recording of it then, and then he'll say, "Did you say this?" Yes, I said it. Kiss my ass, motherfucker, because if you're that fragile, I don't need to be around your ass.
See, one thing I say about that is like it was written so long ago that it's the challenge is looking at history through today's
It
lens.
was made
Like
up so long
like
ago.
my daughter and I talk about that all the time. Like whether we're talking about slavery or how women were treated back in the day, I was like, that was the norm back then. It's like slavery isn't an American specific thing. It was all over the world. Like whites enslaved whites, Muslims enslaved Muslims, blacks enslaved blacks. Like it was across the world. But in this country, we just look at it as white versus black, and why? Because it's about money, right? That's what
Right.
it's
I
about.
agree.
So,
Yep.
so they found because there's money in outrage. There's money in
Right.
outrage. But when people step back and look rationally at the time, there were plenty of people who were against it. Yes, there were plenty of people who were for it. And just think about today. There's plenty of people who are pro-abortion. There's plenty of people who are anti-abortion. There's plenty of people who are pro-gay, plenty of people who are anti-gay. Like there's so many different pro-religion, anti-religion. Like that's been the basis of life since the beginning. Since the beginning. And with these things, most of them are opinion based. It's like, do you think gays should marry? Some will say yes, some will say no. Do you think blacks and whites should marry? Some will say yes, some will say no. And why does that divide stay alive? Because the money is in the division. It has nothing to do with morality. It has everything to do with money. Like we spoke about this before, like with feminism. Like people think feminism is about the empowerment of women. It's the furthest thing from that. It has nothing to do with that. It's when World War II happened, the men went overseas here in the States, and the women had to join the workforce, and the government was like, shit, we can tax them too. So when the men came back, they wanted to keep taxing the women because you just doubled the tax base. And they sold it in a way to where women would be on board with it, and they entered the workforce. It's like
Well, it wasn't just that.
it's like
It
we
was
have
the
to
fact
step
that you
back. It's like we have to step back and look at a rational reason why things are happening. Every mainstream big movement is money driven. Look at BLM. Look at BLM. They sold the whole Black Lives Matter thing and they took that right to the bank, buying mansions, hosting presidential parties, and all this other stuff. That had nothing to do with the empowerment of blacks. Like, how many schools were renovated? How many scholarships were given? Like how many communities were built up? None. But Sean King got a mansion. Patrice Cullors got a mansion. Who's the other one? I don't remember the other one. They all got
I
all
don't
these
know, but
big old
they should be
mansions.
in prison. That's what I
Yeah,
think
like
they should
like
be in
it's
prison.
it's insane, and it's on both sides. It's
Yeah.
all the right wing movements too. Like it's all the same. All the pro life rallies, all that stuff is driven by money, and then just so many people, and I hate to call people names, but so many people are just simple. They're just simple, and whatever their mainstream media of choice that they follow, they just blindly follow, and they just do whatever that site says, and you can't ask any questions because you get labeled. Like if you're on the right and you ask questions, you're a Nazi. If you're on the left and you ask questions, you're a communist. It's absolutely insane. So people just stay in their bubble and they don't question the norm. And that's what I like about these talks with you, even though sometimes we disagree, but at least we're here and we're sharing our opinions. Like we don't have to agree. Like when we sign off of here, you're still Kurt, my friend.
Right.
Man, it's like I respect you as a person, as a human being. I love what you do. I love the course you're creating about self-love. Just because we disagree on a couple points doesn't make you an asshole. And I hope you feel the same way about me.
Of course I do. I've never thought that about you. It's because again, I know you as the person I know is compassionate. He's very very thoughtful. You're very intelligent, and so I go. I may not agree with what you say, but I know that you don't just say those things because it's something you're regurgitating. It's something that you thought out and you come to this conclusion. Again, we may not come to the same conclusion, but at least I know that you've there's been thought that's been put into this, and it's not
Yes.
just something you're just saying just because that's what other people told you. And so to me,
Yeah, you know
you're
I'm not
an
a follower
individual,
at all.
right? And neither am I, and that's why I think we get along so well. Even
Yes.
though we do have our disagreements, but I will always have respect for you, regardless of our stance on different issues. And but I know for a fact, I know where I stand on most issues. If I don't, I will tell you I'm not sure yet. To be honest with you, I don't know. I believe in evolution, but I don't believe that evolution has everything correct.
Yeah.
I don't know that. I believe in a higher being or a higher power, and I believe it used evolution to create us in whatever way it did. I believe that the Bible has its purpose here. I don't believe in it literally, and I don't think it should be taken literally. There's some great stories in there great lessons that can be learned from it, but I don't think it should be taken as gospel truth. So there's a lot to unfold when you talk about things like religion and evolution and things of that nature, because it's not clear cut. It's not like because I believe in evolution, I'm anti-religion. I personally don't believe in religion. It doesn't mean I'm anti-religion. It means you can believe whatever you want. I don't care, but don't force your religion down my throat. That's all I got to say.
Yeah.
And if you believe in a democracy, I don't understand how Christians can believe in forcing you to do what they believe, because that's not democracy. You live your life the way you want to live it, and you let others live it the way they want to live it. And God will make that judgment when come that day. It's not for you to make that judgment. All you're supposed to do is spread the word. You spread it, and it's not accepted. That's not on you. You told people what you had to tell them. Now, leave them the hell alone.
So this is a question, and I'm thinking this is directed to you. So you can go ahead and
Mm-hmm.
answer. So what's wrong with being a follower when you're seeking only the truth?
The reason it's wrong with being a follower is that I will tell you this. Just like I would say, just like I would say, thanks, Frank. Just as I would say, don't follow Robert, don't follow me, don't take our word as gospel truth. You need to find that truth on your own. You're not going to find it in someone else's words. You may find part of the truth there, but you need to seek that truth out for yourself and see if those things are true when once you get done doing what you need to do your research, your investigation, to see if what we're saying is true, because it may not be. And then if you're following somebody, let's say, for instance, one person that gets followed a lot is Jordan B. Peterson. I like Jordan B. Peterson. Lately, he's gone off the deep end, but I understand why he did. The left hammered him and hammered him and hammered him, and twisting his words and twisting his meanings and saying things that he didn't say, and he had to go back and say, "That's not what I said. This is what I said." And they just relentlessly hammered him to the point where it affected him, not just mentally, but physically. It affected his family. So now he's gone off to the right because he found support there. He found love there. And I don't blame him. I understand why he did that, because mentally and physically it's better for his health. But now I see this angry man who wasn't angry. I'm not going to say he wasn't angry, but he was composed. He was always about facts. Now I see this angry person who's doing things out of spite rather than out of right. And so, why I would say Jordan Peterson is someone who I admire, I agree a lot with. I'm not a follower because everything he says is not true. Everything he says is not correct. And whenever we attach our wagon to one person or one group and say, "Oh, I'm following this person or this group to the end," that's that's just catastrophic, because I guarantee you those people or those groups are going to hurt you.
So he
That's
says,
what I
so why listen to you?
because that's what I said. Listen to what I had to say, and then don't. I didn't say believe everything I said. I don't think there's
Yeah,
anything
just
wrong with
listen.
listening to different groups. I think you should listen to Jordan B. Peterson. I think you should listen to Sam Harris. I think you can listen to Joe Rogan. I think you listen to all of them, and then you decide for you what you believe.
Yes.
Don't believe it just because they said it.
Agreed. Agreed. And you know my feelings on that too. Like let's take Anna Kasparian, who's
Yeah,
a definite liberal. Like I spent a good part of today listening to a bunch of her videos because I told you I listen to what both sides have to say, and then I formulate my own opinion from there. Like I said,
right.
I am not a Republican. I am not a Democrat. I am very anti-democrat, and I have reasons for it. Does that mean I hate everything they do? No, it doesn't. Like, and I've said that to you numerous occasions. But like, there were just certain things that they do that I just cannot rock with. But
I get that.
it's also the same on the right. There's certain things that they do. Like you said, like I don't believe in like shoving religion down people's throats. But now years ago I dated a girl who was deep into religion, like because with her family I kind of had to if I wanted to date her. So like I have very solid biblical knowledge, but like a lot of it I'm like, okay, this all makes sense. Other parts are like, it's a little head scratching, right? It is what it is. But that doesn't mean that I completely disregard it. Like there are things in there that I think are good values to live by. There's other things in there where I'm thinking like I think that should kind of be a choice. Like we were put on this earth with free will for a reason, wherever we came from. Whether you think we were created, whether you think we evolved, we were put here with free will. So I do believe in the power of choice. Like going back to abortion, I told you, if I get someone pregnant, I would want for this person to have the baby. And I'm 49. I don't want any more kids. But if it happened, that would be my preference. But
Right.
ultimately, that woman would have the choice, right? So, like, two things can be true. It's like I can think for me personally, I would not want the baby to be killed, right? And you can spin it any way you want to spin it. It's the killing of a baby. So no matter how you try to justify it, and I think that ultimately, because that woman has to bear the burden of carrying that child to term, caring for the child, because it is easy for men to just vanish, in that regard. So is it right? No. Is it immoral? Probably not. But at the same token, we have free will. It's like we can't pick and
Well,
choose when we have free will.
I think we should talk about that topic on its own because there's a lot to be said about that. And I know we've
Yeah.
talked about it a little bit,
Yep.
but I think we should talk about that on its own. But
Yep.
you're correct. It's like you don't have to be anti something just because you don't agree with it or just because like and you don't. And I want to give you your friend because I didn't see his name up there. An example. I was a big Bernie Sanders supporter, still am. I'm more so like Marianne Williamson now that she's in the race, um, and hopefully she'll be around for a while and become more prominent. But the thing is that as much as a supporter of Bernie Sanders as I am, I didn't agree with everything that Bernie said
Yeah.
because I don't believe he was right on everything. And that's the danger. And people, this is the funny part. And I don't know if you remember this or not, but people were calling Bernie Sanders supporters Bernie Bros, and that we were a cult, that we would do everything that Bernie said. But then, and the next breath, they were pissed off because we wouldn't vote for Hillary. And even though Bernie
Mm.
said support Hillary, we wouldn't. It's like, wait a minute. I thought we were in a cult. I thought we did whatever Bernie said. Now you're
Yep.
pissed off at us because we didn't do what Bernie said, because we do think for ourselves and we don't support everything that he does because he's not always right. No one is. So,
Exactly.
and that's the thing. You just don't don't put all your eggs into to one basket to where you think someone's always right. Because even as much as you and I like to believe we're right, we're wrong at times, and I and
Mm-hmm.
I admit that. And the and here's the there's a what is it, Dunning and Kruger theory that people who are so absolutely sure they're right are the ones who are always the most wrong. They're
Mm-hmm.
the ones who are most right always doubt themselves and always question themselves. And I know for a fact I do that. I question my beliefs all the time because I want to know, do they still hold water? Are they still true today, as true
Mm.
as I believe they were yesterday? And if we don't do that, we stop growing and we become stagnant. And then we start believing things like, I was taught there were 9 planets in this solar system. I come to find out, oh, you know, what is it? Pluto's not a planet. So do I stick to it and go, yes, it is. It's a planet. That's what I was taught. I was taught Pluto's a planet. It's like, no, if science finds a new truth, then that becomes the new truth. And it is what it is. That's what I love about science, is because it continues to challenge itself and question itself all the time to make sure that we are on the right track.
I mean, we can definitely have an entire discussion on science itself too, because like I've told you before, anything
Yeah,
that
money.
politics touches turns to hell, and
Well, or
politics
money.
has
Yeah.
infiltrated science now. But we can save that one for another discussion because it's been
Absolutely.
an hour and 50 minutes now. So.
Yeah, and I haven't eaten dinner yet.
Oh, geez, I thought you eat at 6.
Well, I was busy doing other things, so I didn't get a chance to eat earlier. So like
Gotcha. All right. Well,
it's no big deal.
whole lot of thumbs up are coming in here. So we had some good engagement here today, which is good. So step in the right direction, because we've had a few weeks off, mainly because of
Right.
me, but just get I'm telling you, like, getting this gym off the ground, like, this gym is going to be good. Like I said earlier, I landed in such a great situation after coming off of hell, like literal hell of losing everything. But I landed in a great situation. And that's why I get so passionate when I talk about opportunities and all that, because
Right.
I tell people, when you're in the fire, you can't see the fire. I say this all
Right.
the time. When you're in the fire, you can't see it. So sometimes it takes someone to tell you, hey, you're on fire. And it was one of my podcast guests. Like, I was doing an episode here where she was telling me, you gotta kick down every door, you know. And I got off of that podcast, and I was like, she's absolutely right. I'm like,
Right.
I'm in my own way. So just going back to what I was saying earlier about, people not having the opportunities, like, the opportunity is there. Are you receiving it? So, like, when she said
Right.
that, like, I received it. And then I went to the school to talk about coaching track, started coaching track, and it relit my passion for fitness again. And then I just happened to stumble upon John on the way to Planet Fitness. I stumbled upon the gym where I am now, and like, think, because I started looking for opportunities. Whereas when I first got back here, I was just wallowing in depression. I was drinking myself senseless. Like, it was bad. It was really bad. But I just got myself into this bad web. And on the show that I was hosting, I got schooled by my guest, and that
But
guest
that's
inspired me to get back to who I really am and start looking for opportunities, because they're there. They really are everywhere. Like when you were saying how the billionaires and the millionaires are like, there's money everywhere. They're not wrong. Just you and I aren't
right.
money, like, we're just not money driven, but they're not wrong. Like, it's literally everywhere, especially now in the internet age. Anybody can make an Amazon store. Pick a product that you want to sell, and you can sell it on Etsy, on Shopify, on Amazon, on eBay, on Facebook Marketplace. Like, the opportunities are absolutely endless. So to just say to people, you don't have the opportunities, I'm like, it's just not right. But
That's right. That's
we got to
not
bring
true.
this down.
Yeah,
Hmm.
let me just say this, is like you just mentioned something I think is very important. Even with guys like you and I who we know these things, from time to time we have to hear it again from someone else. You heard it from
Yes.
your guest, and
Yep.
and it reminded us, oh, this is who I am. And that goes for everyone. We all need support. We all need to be reminded from time to time. I have a friend who I rely on constantly, that reminds me of who I am, because I have my doubts as well sometimes, or I'll forget who I am, and I have to sit there and go, this is who you are. You aren't somebody who's going to sit back and do nothing about this. You're going to do something because that's who you are and that's what you've always done. But we have that support. And you're right. We need to get that support to everyone, but we have to have a society who cares about everyone, who's willing to do that and go out and help others and wait and be patient because sometimes we're not ready to hear certain lessons until years later. But keep that there so when they're ready, they'll be able to run with it. So
Absolutely.
I want to thank Frank and Lorna and your other friend there for participating and listening. I I really appreciate it.
Yeah, me too. And I think all three of them are still on now too. So, so we're closing in on 2 hours, and all the thumbs up are pouring in right now too. So
Excellent.
seriously, thank you all. And again, if any of you want to come on and have a discussion with us, just comment below, and when we go live next time, you guys can come on and join the discussion live if you want to. I mean, like as you said, I mean, yeah, we got a little heated for a second there, but typically we have strong but civil conversations. And
Right.
so if you want to be a part of that, like it's not about tearing each other down. It's like, of course we'll try to, defend our arguments, but just the fact that you guys held on, you guys were, she said, you think, but this is what's needed. This is what's needed. Like it's okay to have differing opinions. It's okay. And like I said, he and we're still friends. We're not mad at each other. It's like we're not gonna sign off and send each other middle finger emojis. Like that's not what it's about, So, the Love Podcast. Are you interested in coming on? Is that what that means? Yes, I do. All right, great. Yes, so you can shoot. Know what? Better yet, shoot me an email at rob@robertbfoster.com. Hey, shoot me an email, and then we'll get you on next week.
Robert, we probably should try to keep it to one guest at a time because with
I agree.
more than three people, it could get convoluted.
Okay. All right. I mean, yeah. I would say three, maybe four.
Maybe
But
four, yeah.
I wouldn't go above four. So, but yeah, this has been good. And again, thank you for those of you who tuned in. Feel free to share this if you found value in it. Kurt, thank you. And I'm actually glad I sent you that video last night. So got us back on here because I've just been so busy lately.
I know.
It's like by this time of night, I'm just like you can see it in my eyes. I get freaking bags
right.
And I've just been so tired. I'm like, I just don't have it in me. But then I saw that video, and then we had our exchange. I was like, all right, we gotta get this back in gear. So, and there's gonna be a lot of great snippets from both of us on here that I'll clip and put on TikTok and Reels and stuff. So, all right,
sounds good, sir.
Have a good night.
All right, you too. Take care.
See you later.